Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Radha Kunja Bihari Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Aladeva Mai Subhadra Jaya Srinath Ji Jaya Bala Gopal Jaya Srinath Ji Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nitya Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitya Gaura Hari Bo Jai Hari Nama Sankirtana ki Srila Prabhupada ki Nityananda Trayodasi Mahotsav ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna. So we'll read today from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 5, verse 5. We've been reading these last few days. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So again, reading Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 5, verse number 5. I'm just going to read and go through it just because I know not everybody has it. Ekai swarupa done bina matra kaya adaya kaya viha Krishna lilara sahaya. Translation. These two are one and the same identity. They differ only in form. Lord Balaram is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. Balaram is the Swamsha expansion of the Lord, and therefore there is no difference in potency between Krishna and Balaram. The only difference is in their bodily structure. As the first expansion of Godhead, Balaram is the chief deity amongst the first quadruple forms, and he is the foremost assistant of Sri Krishna in his transcendental activities.
Excuse me, Prabhu. What do they mean by quadruple forms?
I'll explain.
Okay.
That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parirana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Rindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kuma Sindhu Mevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today is the auspicious appearance day of Lord Nityananda Ram. So we get some insight from this verse why we refer as Nityananda Ram. Because Lord Nityananda is Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram is the, as Srila Prabhupada explained in that verse, the Swamsha expansion from Krishna. That means that is the full and complete expansion. So actually Lord Balaram is the first expansion from Lord Krishna. And then from Lord Balaram, all the subsequent expansions manifest, including the quadruple expansion, which you had asked about, which is the expansion of Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasudeva. So this is the quadruple expansion. Then there's a Lord Narayan, and then a secondary quadruple expansion. And like this is how the ultimate universe is created and all the different avatars manifest. But they manifest through the expansions from Lord Balaram. Krishna expands himself once as Lord Balaram, and from there all the other work comes. Because Krishna has no work to do. He has no administrative duties. He is there simply to play on his flute, enjoy with the cowherd boys, with Mother Yashoda, with the gopis, with Nanda Baba. That's his only duty. And as Prabhupada writes, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, our only job is to enjoy also. We are not made to labor intensely in the factories, in the mineral mines, in society, trying to eat, sleep, mate, and defend. We're simply there to enjoy. And so, because we have lost our way, Krishna comes to re-establish the path of perfection. And when he comes, he always comes with Lord Balaram. And so when when Krishna appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Navadvip, some 540 years ago, then Lord Nityananda appeared, or Lord Balaram appeared as Lord Nityananda. So that is why we say Nityananda Ram, referring to this connection. And Lord Nityananda is the most merciful, because it is by his mercy that we can obtain the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction is to come and chant the holy names of the Lord. Right? That's all he told us. Just chant. Harinam, 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 Evikevalam, Kalon, Nashteva, 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 Kathirnita. This verse he would quote wherever he traveled. There is no other way, there is no other way. Just chant, chant, chant. This is the means in Kali Yuga. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established the Yuga Dharma. And that was his only instruction. In his 8 verses of Shikshashtaka are there to imbibe upon us faith in chanting of the holy names. So actually the potency to chant the holy names, this instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it comes from Lord Nityananda. When we have the favor of Lord Nityananda, then we can take to this process of chanting nicely. Because we see that in the pastime of Lord Nityananda, when he joined Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had just one mission, and that was to engage anyone and everyone in the chanting of the holy names. He knew this was the desire of his beloved Lord, and so he would go door to door, begging people to chant. Sometimes he'd go to a house and people would readily accept and very happily begin chanting. Other times, he would face severe responses, sometimes even threats. And when somebody was acting inimically towards him, he would take a straw from the street and clutch it between his teeth, this ultimate sign of humility, and he would beg and beg, please chant, please chant, please chant. He knew that the only means of overcoming all of our difficulties is to take to the chanting of the holy names. So Lord Nityananda, we see that he is distributing this holy name in the marketplace of the holy name, the Namahata, the marketplace for the holy name. He is distributing. And we know when we are giving something of value, we have a high price for it, right?
Yes.
While Nityananda is so merciful, he says there is no price. Well, there is a price, but not the way we think. He says that in the marketplace of the holy name, he distributes the holy name for only one's faith. Just faith. No dollars, no rupees, no cents, no jewels. The price, just some faith. That this process of chanting the holy names can uplift one from the most fallen of conditions. So this is Lord Nityananda's special benediction. That we know Lord Balaram is the source of our spiritual strength. We were discussing this a little bit yesterday. And to gain strength in our spiritual practice, we discussed, we should approach Lord Nityananda. Now to hone in more detail. Our chanting of the holy names, this is the prime activity of the followers of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And you may say, well, what about dressing the deities? What about reading Srimad Bhagavatam? What about cooking for the deities, serving? Yes, those are all very, very important activities. But the successful performance of those activities should lead one to increase their faith and taste for chanting. So if we think of like a wheel, the middle of the wheel, the hub, is the core of that wheel. And then from it comes different spokes. So like this in our bhakti, this chanting is the middle, the hub. In all other processes of devotional service that we do, should enthuse our chanting. If not, then we have to diagnose what I am doing in my practice of devotional service, because there's some, formula error. So, when we pray to Lord Nityananda, the best of all prayers is to give us the strength to overcome the mind's dictations, to overcome this ahankara, this illusion, and to take to the chanting of the holy name sincerely. This, as we see in Shashtakam, this is the prime benediction for humanity. What is the most important benediction? Is to chant the holy names. And so when we find difficulty in that, we take shelter of Lord Nityananda. And we should pray to him. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that our misfortune, our durdaivam, we chant in Shashtakam, durdaivam idisham na anuraga. I don't have attachment. I don't have raga. I have anuraga. I don't have attachment for the chanting of the holy names. And this is our greatest misfortune. We define so many misfortunes. Oh, I don't get enough sleep. I don't have enough recognition in society. I don't have enough wealth. I don't have enough this. I don't have enough that. But none of that is misfortune. The only misfortune we have is no taste and no attachment for chanting the holy names. As soon as there is attachment and taste for chanting the holy names, then all of our misfortune is gone. This is this proclamation of the Mahaprabhu. So, this is the opportunity today to pray to Lord Nityananda that we obtain this faith, this strength to chant the holy names nicely. And if we do, then we'll find great success in spiritual life. So, Jai Shri Shri Radha Kunjaya, Jai Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev, Jai Shri Nath, Jai Shri Shri Gauranga. So, I wanted to discuss this prayers by Narottam Das Thakur. If you want, you can take your phones and you can pull out the song on kksongs.com, and you can put Nitai Pada Kamala. So this is a prayers by Narottam Das Thakur in the composition called Prarthana. These prayers by Narottam Das Thakur are so powerful. Actually, Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji says that if you want Krishna Prema, just buy 2 books. Prema Bhakti Chandrika and Prarthana. The 2 books of songs, of poems, composed by Narottam Das Thakur. And just by studying these, one can obtain Krishna Prema. This was a statement of Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji, the spiritual master of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And so, in this song that he has composed, Nitai Pada Kamala, he is establishing faith in Lord Nityananda. Faith in Lord Nityananda. And he makes some very strong statements in this. So let's discuss. So you all have it in front of you? Huh? Nitai Pada Kamala. You can find it in KK songs. So the first line goes, Nitai Pada Kamala, Koti Chandra Sushitala, Jai Chaya Jagata Jurai. The translation, Nitai Pada Kamala, the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. They are cooling like millions of moons. Dechaya Jagata Jurai. The whole world wants to have this peace and happiness. And the soothing rays, the feet of Lord Nityananda are like the soothing rays of millions of moons. Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport to this bhajan that, in the heat of summer, particularly in India, it's a very intense heat. But when the moon comes out in the evening, the rays of the moon provide a very cooling effect. And so Lord Nityananda's cooling effect of his feet are compared to millions of moons, 10 million moons. So all the difficulties we find in this material world will be solved by taking to the shelter of Nitai Pada Kamala, the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Then Narottam Das Thakur goes on, Heno Nitai Bine Bai, Radha Krishna Paite Nai, Vidya Kori Daro Nitai Pai, Heno Nitai Bine Bai. Without Lord Nityananda, one has no hope to understand, to come and approach Radha Krishna. It will be extremely difficult. So if we want to approach Radha Kunj Bihari, we have to first take the shelter of Lord Nityananda. Heno Nitai Bine Bai. Unless one takes the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will not happen. And so what should one do? Vidya Kori Daro Nitai Pai. one should firmly hold on to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Narottam Das Thakur says firmly. If we were drowning in an ocean and somebody threw us a rope to pull us back into the boat, how would we hold on to that rope? Casually? We would wrap ourselves completely around that rope and hold on for dear life. This is the intensity of which we should hold on to the feet of Lord Nityananda. Narottam Das Thakur says, one should firmly, not lightly. He says, Dridda Kori, very strongly hold on to these feet, like we are holding on to a lifeline. Then in the second stanza, Narottam Das Thakur says, Se sambandha nahi ja, Brita janma gelota, Se pashu poro durachar. Se sambandha nahi ja. Sambandha means relationship. Without a relationship with Lord Nityananda, now brace yourself, because Narottam Das Thakur speaks very strongly, but accurately. He says, without a relationship with Lord Nityananda, one's entire janma, one's entire existence, his human birth, is spoiled, wasted. It's a strong statement. So we may spend this janma, this human birth, accumulating so many things, so many assets, so much position, so much knowledge, so many experiences, things that we want to acquire in this world. But if we don't say sambandha nahi, if we don't awaken this relationship with Lord Nityananda, according to Narottam Das Thakur, there is no value in that birth. And he explains, Se pashu boro dudachar, that the human form of life, when one is unattached to Lord Nityananda, we behave worse than even a wild animal. A wild animal. That a wild animal in the jungle, Srila Prabhupada explains, can be tamed, can be controlled. But a human with uncontrolled senses, can never be tamed. And we see it. We see it around us. We see so much, crime, heinous actions between one and another, so much hate in this world. It's driven by uncontrolled senses. So, this animal-like propensity, worse than animal-like propensity, unless we come and take shelter of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult to overcome. And then Narottam Das Thakur goes on. He says that Nityaina bolilo muke majila samsara suke vidya kule ki kori bekar. He says Nityaina bolilo muke. If one does not use their mouth for speaking about Lord Nityananda, because he's never uttered the name Lord Nityananda, this Majilo Samsara Sukhe is trying to get happiness within this material world. He is trying to find so-called happiness, like somebody trying to find water within the desert. Is that a very good place to try to find water? It's there, but it's in very small quantities. So who would go to the desert to find water? As foolish as that is, one would come to the material world trying to find happiness. It's there, but it's in such tiny quantity. It's so temporary. It's not the real existence. So, this is the position of one who hasn't established a relationship with Lord Nityananda. We become uncontrolled, worse than a wild animal. Our whole birth is being wasted. We're not even uttering the names Lord Nityananda, trying to find happiness in this material world. And so he says, Vidya kule ki kori beta. All the education, all the family traditions and wealth, how is it going to help? It won't help. So this is Narottam Das Thakur's. He's not sugarcoating this. This is not for the faint of heart. But he's speaking to establish our faith in Lord Nityananda. Because he's just not one of many great personalities that we... But this is the start of our practice. So then he goes on, Ahankara Mataya Nitai Pada Pasariya Asya Tere Satya Korimani. This ahankara, this false ego. It is like a maddened elephant. You know, this hatamata we see. This intense false ego. And it's so hard to break. We know from the very beginning of our Krishna consciousness that we are not this body, we're a spirit soul. But to actually understand that is very difficult. Because this ahankara is very, very strong. And what happens when I come under illusion? Nitai pada pasarya. I forget Nityananda. Who is Lord Nityananda? What is it that he can do for me? Why I should know him? This is what the ahankara leads us to do. And so, he is asya tere satya. That he is accepting that which is false to be true. When we accept that which is false to be true, we become in a dangerous position. Prabhupada gives the example that if you mistake a snake for a rope, and you think, oh, there's some rope, and I go to pick up the rope, that will not end well for us. So accepting something to be true that is not true is very dangerous for us. Accepting this body to be the end-all, be-all, this is the ahankara, is catastrophic. So this is the position. Now, Narottam Das Thakur is going to transition. He says, Nitya Karuna Be Braja Radha Krishna Pabe Dara Nitya Charana Dukhani. He says that if you want to approach Radha Krishna in the land of Braja, Vrindavan, what do you need? Nitya Karuna. You need the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So in the first stanza, Narottam Das Thakur told, Heno Nitya Bine Bhai Radha Krishna Paitine. Without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, you cannot. Now, we get the affirmative statement that if you want to enter into the association of the divine Radha Krishna, You need Nitya Karuna. We need the mercy of Lord Nityananda. This is how it happened. So what should we do? Daro Nitya Charana Dukhani. Again, we should firmly grasp the lotus feet, the pair of feet of Lord Nityananda. Again, we see this word, firmly, like a lifeline. Then in the final stanza, Narottam Das Thakur says, Nitya Charana Satya Tahara Sevaka Nitya Nitya Pada Sada Koro Asha Nitya Charana Satya. This is the truth. The lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion. They are fact. And one who engages in the loving service, Daha Sevaka Nitya. One who engages in that service has found the real truth, is transcendental. So always, Nitya Pada, Sada, always try to grab onto the feet of Lord Nityananda. Then Narottam Das Thakur makes his statement. Naratoma boro dukhi, nitai more koro sukhi, rakoranga charanera pasha. Narottam Das Thakur says, Narottama boro dukhi. I am in great suffering. I am very unhappy. He says, this Narottam Das is very unhappy, struggling in this material world. So what's he saying? Therefore I'm praying to Lord Nityananda. Nitai more koro sukhi. Nityananda, please make me happy. So if we want happiness, who we should approach? Lord Nityananda. Think, his name, Nitya Ananda, means eternal happiness. So whenever we are upset, whenever we are saddened, whenever our mood is spoiled, simply come, offer obeisances to Lord Nityananda. Just take darshan of his lotus feet. They are cooling like millions of moons. And whatever pain we are feeling, Lord Nityananda will dissipate. This is Narottam Das Thakur's statement. So we should Rako Ranga Charanera Asha. We should keep these lotus feet very close to us. How? In consciousness. In consciousness. This is the prayer of Narottam Das Thakur that will help us build faith in the glories of Lord Nityananda. He's composed many very sweet bhajans on Lord Nityananda. Both Narottam Das Thakur and Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Very sweet bhajans. And this is personally one of my favorites. I sing this almost every day. Really enjoy it. And so I thought we could read and discuss it and share. There's a beautiful purport in the songbook by Srila Prabhupada, which I tried to summarize in our discussion today. But if you want more details, you can read that purport. So just a little bit on the glories of Lord Nityananda. So please join this evening. We'll have our celebration. Today fasting is until noon time in observance of Lord Nityananda's appearance. So Lord Nityananda is very compassionate, right? We only have to fast till noon. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have to fast until moonrise, and Krishna, oh, we have to fast until midnight. And of course, Radharani, just no fasting until noon. So, this is the indication. So please enjoy today's festival. Thank you very much. Lord Nityananda Rama ki, Nityananda Trayodasi Mahotsav ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nanta Koti Vaishnavrinda. Any questions, comments, discussion on Lord Nityananda or anything related? Okay, no, thank you very much. So Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.